I do always
Uh,
get we're ready.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Morning Coffee Review. It is July 18th, and we've got some exciting stuff to talk about. I'm Jason Artley, joined here as always with Michael Achabe. How's it going today, my friend?
Good. We were just talking about the heat, how it doesn't cool off, dealing with that for a bit. It hasn't been as wet this year. So I don't know when these monsoons are going to hit, hopefully soon. So that we can get that hyper bloom again and a nice cool winter. It was actually a longer winter this year, if I think about it. Snowball up in Flagstaff was open till March, almost April. That's pretty long. So, but yeah, other than that, we're good. Today, we're going to be talking about sets and best practices around sets. And as always, in traditional fashion on our MCR, you're more than welcome to ask us any questions around review as a whole. Today is the traditional open conversation and kind of training, I guess you would say, podcast.
The technical one.
Technical one. That's a good term. I don't think we've really set a term between the both them versus it used to just be MCR, but now we're doing Espresso Yourself. If you are ever wanting to listen in on Espresso Yourself on Spotify, highly suggest it. It's there. These will not be on Spotify. These will be on the tube though. So if you want to go on YouTube, all 2 editions will always be on YouTube. So feel free to check out those there if you're listening in later. Don't forget to subscribe and leave any comments if you have any.
Yeah. So good morning, everybody watching over there on YouTube, either live or in the future. All right. So before we talk about sets, we got a couple housekeeping things to talk about. One exciting thing when it comes to working with Revu and your licensing and that whole subscription thing is that Bluebeam just announced a 3-year option. Right. So when you renew, instead of doing it for 1 year, you can now do it for 3 years, assuming that you have over 100 licenses. Right. So if you have over 100 licenses, you can do the 3-year renewal, and that's going to allow you to save some money even more than you are by keeping going with what you're going on. So if you've got any questions about that, feel free to reach out to our team or your current reseller. And just tell them, hey, you want after that 3-year, because it will save that money in a long road. And plus, you're not going to be getting rid of Revu. It's not going anywhere. It's such a great tool. And that's what we're here to show you, some more features and functions that will help you get more out of your everyday PDF stuff. So on that note, today we're talking about sets. And as always, if you've got any ideas of other topics you'd like us to cover, feel free to put them in the chat or put them in the survey afterwards. We're listening to you guys and what you want to hear. Otherwise, we'll keep on going.
Yeah. Ooh, I did have one. Someone did ask if we could do MEP related workflows in terms of what other folks are doing. So if there are those folks out there in industry from the MEP type of mindset, if you do have a workflow that you have done and you are using Revu for, feel free to, at the end in the survey, if you want to jump on and show us that. Not just us, but everyone here in the industry, that would be very beneficial to everyone as well.
Absolutely. And yeah, David, deployment and centralized tool sets would be great. We'll put that on the list for sure. And Phil, yeah, I heard about that. Wonderful. Thank you for your assistance in that. So, all right.
Did you talk about the 3-year deal when I was multitasking? Sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Squirrels and all that.
Squirrels,
we're not even sharing screens yet. Good times. All right. That sets the tone. And Danny, there won't be a civil coffee review because there's already a civil chat that our friend Brian Haley does the first Tuesday of every month, usually. He's usually joining us. You here today, my friend? No, he's probably off running adventures and having a good time with his role too. But we will talk civil stuff here. But there is a dedicated civil chat that Brian runs, and we'll do our thing.
Oh, do we want to say that we will not be here for Espresso Yourself next Tuesday? Oh, it would
be a technical one.
Technical one. Okay.
Yeah. So the way it's trending right now, to use another buzzword, August 1st, we will probably not have an MCR because both Michael and I will be traveling down to Little Rock, and it's just going to be too much to to figure out, because we'll both be on planes, and you're not supposed to have your internet, and that would be really weird. So we're going to go ahead and probably cancel that one for August 1st, and we'll figure that out. But that's an afternoon today problem to sort out.
Yeah, so we have a technical conference for our internal team. It's all about growth. Again, if you would love to work here at ATG, that's one thing that we hold tried and true is professional growth. So we are going to be flying out to our head office out in Little Rock and doing some professional growth that week and having our team train each other, technical and more soft skills. So if you ever did want to join us, those are some of the things that we do here.
Yep. Every year, the whole technical team joins together, which is 60 plus people at this point. Yeah, it's huge. Get everybody together in the same room for a couple of days to really build the team and get consistent on some of those skills, and just learn from one another. And then same thing with our sales team. They all get together a couple times a year, and then the whole company gets together. And that's where Justin and I usually get to have a good time and take our tradition of selfies and just making beautiful office art over here, my friend.
Office art. I don't see any pictures back there with you and Justin. What's up with that?
They're too special to share right now.
All right. Well, let's get started. So what we will do is we'll start talking about sets. So I will go in and open up review, and we'll start talking about them. But as always, feel free to use the chat area if there is a question outside of what we're talking about for the topic today. That's what this is all about. But in this specific instance, we're going to be talking about sets and how those work, how the panel works itself within review. But first, let's talk about what are sets, right? What can you use these for? Traditionally, what I like to use them for, and other folks are going to have different opinions about them, and that's great. And that's what we're here for. If you use them in a specific way, feel free to use the chat, either on YouTube or here in the Zoom world, to let us know. But traditionally, what I would probably use them for, and what I've showed other folks to use them for, and this is majority of the times I'm doing this with more municipalities, just because they have PDFs that they're receiving that are larger file sizes, and they're trying to do some type of code review for them. Traditionally, what they would go through and do, instead of opening up the larger PDF sets and having an issue with rendering of each page, right? So if you're opening up a PDF and you hit the thumbnails and you're seeing these load, that may be because of two things, right? Just file health itself for PDF format, or just the file size, right? So if you want to go through and separate the PDFs by discipline, you can actually create what's called a set. So I'll show you what that looks like. I have some PDFs here in my demo sheets here. So if I go to sets here, you'll see that these PDFs don't actually live together. So they were separated out. What the panel will do, and we'll talk about settings for the panel, will separate by nomenclature out. But what you're creating is a .bex file extension, which is actually proprietary to Bluebeam. So Review is the solution that actually has these now, and we did get the go ahead. It's gonna be hard to untrain me to say Bluebeam and just Review.
Oh yes, we should talk about that real quick. So, well, if you didn't join us for Espresso Yourself last week, Bluebeam has finally stopped slapping their wrists about just calling it Bluebeam, right? Oh, Bluebeam, everybody's using Bluebeam. And they were like, no, it's Bluebeam Review. It's Review. Review's one of the products. You got to talk about Review. Now they've kind of given it. Yeah, it's Bluebeam.
They've given it.
Yeah, just part of the whole thing. So if you hear a change in our dialogue from saying Bluebeam Review all the time just to Bluebeam, it is what it is. We're trying to match what you all say, because they're getting their feedback from the industry and what people are saying and doing.
And most people refer to it as Bluebeam. Mm-hmm. And then we would always reiterate Review. And you'll catch us. That's how we've always, it's been ingrained in us for training from our BCI courses. But going back into sets, so again, it's a BEX file. You could just open up the BEX file. You could also go through and click sets to open it. So if I go through and double click this, I'm allow it to open it up. We'll show you what this looks like. So if I look over on this panel side here, I will be able to see once you close these brackets, it won't let you scroll through. It essentially lets you scroll through like a traditional PDF set, full combined set. We're going to get a little bit in the weeds here with sets and then an actual set. But as I go through and click through to my next page, it's as if it's one PDF set. Now, as you see here, it stops, right? That is because I can't scroll over because that tab's not broken out. So if I break out both these tabs, I can scroll through to the next one. Now, the cool thing about sets as well is if there is a revision, so a page that is named the same, you will be able to actually see the old revised set or PDF next to the live one. So that is the draw bar that's right below it, kind of giving you that indication. So again, if you only want to review the mechanical set with general notes, you will be able to go through and scroll through these from that manner, right? It's letting you easily skip through these pages that you are specifically looking for in this broken out set. Now, these all live by themselves, as I showed earlier, right here on my desktop individually, right? It's not combined. They're broken out. It's more efficient in that way in terms of rendering because it's only opening up the specific file size for that specific page itself. So one way what you could do is if you're like, well, hey, Mike, how would I be able to quickly export these out? Because it always comes as a single set. Well, what you could do is you could go through and say, okay, well, if you're going to do that, I'm going to open up this PDF. I'm going to go and look at my thumbnails here. These pages are named 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't want them to be named that. I want them to actually be named what the number is on the sheet and then the name itself. You could easily go through and create what are called labels. So all you have to do is hit this little star button here, hit create labels. Now, if you had bookmarks, you could have done it from there, but I'm going to do it from a page region. I'm going to do the number first and then underscore for my spacing convention here, and then the top portion here. Now that is the number and the name of the PDF set itself. Now I can hit OK, hit OK. There we go. And then you could right click, extract pages, and then you can separate these as individual ones. That way you can save them out into the file. If this was a larger file set, you could have done it with all of them, extracted them as single documents, and then created that set.
That really went quick, but you made it look so easy.
Yes. So, Brian's here. So if you wanted to, he did drop his civil chat. Okay. Hyperlinks will still work due to relative path. Danny was asking that question. So as long as the hyperlinks will still work, as long as you've extracted them as individual ones to hyperlink as relative paths, they'll still work in the set itself. Now, this comes down to another question of like, well, is this on a server? Is everyone else going to be able to have access to the set itself? That because it's going to point back to its general location to the BEX file. Now, what you could do, I think I tried this before, and I don't think it works in cloud.
Sets don't work in cloud?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some limitations. So it doesn't work on the iPad, which they were already talking about in the chat. And I don't think it works well in cloud, but
it does work in ACC.
Get out of town.
Yeah, because remember we had that question asked of us. So if I open this, yes, he has an exclamation point. So
it's not working in Studio.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Oh, that's a whole different story. Okay.
Projects.
I don't remember testing that when we've done sets before.
Yeah, we tried it out. Someone had asked us, does sets work in ACC? And it does.
Oh, Bluebeam. What are you guys
doing?
It
won't even let me open it here. So it won't let me open it up in cloud.
Okay.
Maybe if I, no, I was going to say, because even if I download a copy, then it's going to break where these live themselves. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So sets are best for local stuff. You know, if you're compiling them and putting them together, don't use them in studio projects. So there's that. I'm guessing that's going to change with an update. They might not even know about it. You know, here we're over here doing stuff that maybe they haven't thought of, and maybe we'll just drop. Oh, you know what that is? You know what time it is? It's time to go up to our favorite button, the make a suggestion button.
Make a suggestion.
Go up to help, make a suggestion. Say, hey, I use sets all the time, or thanks to Morning Coffee Review, I'm going to start using sets a lot, and I use studio projects a lot. Can we make those sort of go together?
Yeah, sorry, acronyms: ACC Autodesk Construction Cloud, formerly known as BIM 360. So let's talk about creating sets, and I'll answer your question, Liz, in terms of markup capabilities. So as we go through and markup here, I don't know the answer to it, so let's just make some markups and see. Will you be able to see? Her question was the markups. No, and it looks to be as per page. So you would have to be on the page, and it's the page of markups from the markups lists. Doug says he likes sets because when I click link I have to set it to, it opens a new tab. I find it much easier to deal with.
Oh, okay. That's a neat trick. Wasn't there a setting for that? Yeah. Instead of just replacing what you already have open when you're clicking through the set, it's going to open up additional tabs.
Because it's a single PDF, right? That would make sense, yeah. Okay, so let's go through and talk about how we can create these. So I will close the set. Close these PDFs, don't save them. If you were making markups, please save them. So if I go to here and I go to sets, so this is the panel. The panel looks like a bunch of papers stacked. Now, if you don't see this panel, you can right click on a panel location and go to show. And the hotkey for this is Alt+2 to activate that panel open. I've just selected the panel here now. And if you want to go through and create a set, you can hit the drop down and say new set. So if you want to go through and add a new set, all you have to do is say new set from here. And there's going to be some settings that you can go through and modify for this. So you could use, again, for all you folks that are looking for, well, how does it monitor file path and location? This one's going to be using relative path. So if I wanted to go through and modify how this is going to categorize my PDFs, you have sorting first. So how's it going to sort my PDFs? Right now, it's going to show file name and page label, sort by that. And this will just come down to, well, how do you have things named or numbered, right? Because file name, so what's a file name? That's what it's saved as, and then the page label. Or am I just going to look at the page label, not even care about how it was saved, right? The file name itself. So it just comes down to how you want to look in it to organize your data. Next one is how's it going to sort that information? So this information is going to be sorted by file name and then page label. And then sort tagged sheets by sheet number, sort alphabetically. You can do descending, so you can do the opposite if you wanted to. Revision filter auto. You could create a wildcard for how it's going to sort out your revisions. And the wild card right here is just how we're going to separate and sort this data itself. So if I were to go do wildcard, great. So if I wanted to go through and stack my revisions by sheet number or something different, you can go through and just decide how you're going to run that. Previous revisions, are you going to do a cross out or just hide or gray out or cross out? It's kind of, I guess that's because it's default. That's why it says, I was like, I just read that. Or show. So how are you going to show those ones? As you saw earlier, mine was automatically crossed out because default is crossing out. Current revisions, you can stack them, you can highlight them or stack, two different options. You can copy markups to newly added revisions. So if you do add a new document that is the same name and number, then what you can go through and do is once you've added that document to the set, this is what's going to happen to those markups. If there was markups on that old one and you wanted them to that new one, this will copy markups to the newly added revisions here. You can unflatten markups before copying. So if you were adding a new PDF in and your old PDF had markups that were flattened intentionally, but you need them to unflatten in order to copy over, you can have them unflatten here. And then flatten markups after recovery. This would be good if, I guess, the other question would be, or if you have two PDFs that are in that revision stack, Are you going to see both markups? You probably, if you do, we'd have to test it. You would want to flatten, right? Because that way you don't see in the markups lists both markups.
All right. So let's get caught up on the questions in the chat here before you hit OK. So Bob's asking, what's other than the shorter time to render thumbnails, what are the advantages of using sets? And there's a few of them, honestly. And I think organizing by discipline is one of the bigger ones, right? Because not every project is all on the same title block from the same office. You might have the MEP set, the civil set, the structural set rolling up under an architectural set, or whoever's in control of the final deliverable. And being able to swap those out, sets makes that a little easier. And plus general file size, we talked about that with the rendering of thumbnails and some other things. And some of these consistency things that Michael's going through with the file naming are certainly a big option there to benefit. Additionally, Vince has tried using sets on numerous projects in the UK, but it's difficult with naming conventions. Yeah, that's fair. Naming conventions do get tricky to organize. And then Doug's got custom category templates for one of our clients. Interesting. So we might dig into that now here in a little bit. All right. As you were, sir.
Categories. So how's it going to sort our data? So those are those category tabs that we saw earlier. This is going to go through and do this automatically or manual. And you can save as. So that's what Doug was saying. He created a custom one. So you can do it by sheet number or file name. Just depends. Sheet number, again, we saw how I went through and named those and numbered them themselves from the labels. And then this is the category of what it's looking for the information. So as you go through and start to automate that, it's going to grab that data from here. You can always add your own, what the category name is, if there's something outside of this, and then the filter that it's going to populate for that.
I think this one is weird because you have the ability to save what you're populating in there, but there's not really a way to import it. Right. So that's what we're kind of talking about. And there's a little riffing going on in the chat about, not being able to save that file, because doing things manually every time is really not what Revu's about. Right. There's so many other features and functions inside of the software that do have that import export option. And this is where it should be. Again, help, make a suggestion. It's just an XML file, right? That should be easy enough for them to do.
So if you save as, does it not import?
I don't think there is, unless maybe try something real quick. So save as, something, yeah. And then if you do that, so you have that construction category, just make another MCR one so it stays in the same location. And then if you hit OK, now if you go back to categories, if you pull down categories up top for auto, I thought maybe there would be one in there for the MCR, the one you just made.
Well, it looks like it defaults to.
Okay. So you can save it, but you can't load different ones. Interesting. Oh, Jared's suggesting that there is a category option in the preferences. Okay, let's go dig this in. This is what we do, rabbit holes all day long. So under preferences, sets, categories. So you've got that auto, manual off. So it's the same thing. It's not giving you
here's a template.
There you go. So it's under default templates. So there's the trick.
Always prompt default template selection.
Thanks for that, Jared. That's a good tip. We would have found it eventually, but that's pretty clever. I'm surprised Doug didn't find that. Sorry, bud. Put you on blast for that one.
It didn't prompt me though.
That's true. But again, it's not consistent with the import export, but
maybe I need to close with my preferences.
No, it's a different word, right? Because it's asking about templates versus the categories. I like that link with all the A's on it. Oh, it's funny.
Well, this said it was going to give me a pop-up. Oh, template, default template.
Yeah, but still, it always prompt for template selection.
Is this the template?
It says add your files first. So maybe without files open.
Oh, here it is.
Ah, clever.
So
there you
this
go.
save as is for everything in here, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm. So that's going to
Which is the
save you some
same as
time.
this.
Yeah, that's a pretty good trick. That will allow you to customize for client types, work types, things like that, based on those designations. If you do have odd file names or standards that you need to follow. So never mind, we don't have to make a suggestion. Isaac says, go to categories, like Jared said, and you need to move a tab over in the preferences, more control of the template. So categories, and move a tab over in the preferences.
Oh, you can do everything from here.
New and load. Okay, look at that.
So maybe it's better to do things from here versus in that options.
Yeah, it looks like very similar, but it looks like there are a few different options there to fix things, especially when you're dealing with, superseding and revisions. Very cool.
Well, cool. Okay.
Thanks, MCR community. See, this is how this all works and why we're so thankful that you join us every week, because we're here to learn from one another and share what's going on in the everyday trenches of the industry.
So I'm going to add these PDFs here. And I guess the one last thing we didn't do was tags. So add tags to sheets within the set. Tags can be applied manually or by user-defined regions, which finds text on the sheet via auto mark. I'm going to hit OK. So this is the sorting, and this is what it found. So data-wise. So now you have this ability to go through and see what we have here in our sheets, and then what we have for other information that it's using for that data. And it applied the tags. So this one was the one where it had two of the same exact sheets themselves. So depending on how, if they align, right? Or so it's basically saying, hey, these two have matched. There's two of them. Are they actually matching? You get to decide that here, and I'm going to hit OK. Now, I wonder if it gave me tags. I guess the tags are just...
You can edit your tag values at the top.
Maybe didn't find them. Okay. So going back to this, we have our sheets themselves. Here is that superseded one for the door schedule. Weird that it gave me one before too. Oh, that's because it copied the markup over. So place the markup. Let's see, does it give us two supersededs? It does. So as you look at this, be aware that you would probably want to flatten the old ones. That way it doesn't copy multiple ones over. And you can tell I've done that a lot because there's a bunch of them on this one. Okay. Scrolling down, again, looking at our different options for our categories. So that, again, that option of being able to hit the drop down here and what you have available. Let's go through and see how can we modify this set. So if we go through, it's the same exact settings. That's what this tab is for, is modifying the set settings themselves. You can look at the categories that were already pre-assigned for these. Maybe we'll do show path, not really. Next one is going in, adding files to the set. So if you wanted to go through and add any new files, you can go through and add any files to the existing set themselves. So this is maybe updating one. If a revised one came through, instead of having to recreate the whole set, you can just have it go through and do that too. Tags. I have a few custom tags too, but in most cases you want markups to transfer. Perfect. You can search the set. Ooh, so this is the same search feature, just bumps you right into the search panel. So if you need to go through and select that, and then you also have show and hide thumbnails. Ooh, I kind of like this one even more.
I did too, especially because it gives you that cross out.
Yeah.
Right. So it still makes it easy to navigate, and you still have your thumbnails on the left-hand panel, depending on what profile you're in.
Yeah, I like this way more because then you can just click it. You don't have to see the actual page because you're like, well, I'm going to go to the page, right?
Right. And this kind of mimics a standard legend or an index on a cover sheet anyway, right? So it's a little bit more familiar, at least in my brain.
I mean, it looks cleaner to me.
Well,
so if I go here and go to sets, there are a couple of options what you can do. So let's say we're marking up this PDF set within Revu because it's not a full, I guess it is considered a construction document set, but it's not combined. So if you wanted to publish it, so you went through major markups, it was easier for you to do it this way. But you need to share it, right? Because that's always the thing. Hey, well, these are separated. You had me separate them out, Michael. Can I share them as a combined PDF set? And you actually can. So if you just hit the drop down here, you can go to publish and you can send it as a combined set themselves. So you can save it as, and then it staples them together. It's a stapler. And then you can share it that way. Now, if you're just sharing this amongst colleagues, you can save this out as a set. So that saves it as that .bex file extension. So you don't have to recreate the combination of this into a set. It will save it out as a BEX file. You open that BEX file, not the PDF. You open the BEX file, it'll publish it directly into the sets, and then you can open it from there and work just as you would with the set. So you would want to save this set as whatever your nomenclature naming convention is going to be for the combined set. But again, being able to go through and combine them from here or create a PDF package. We talked about PDF packages before. It's kind of like a zip file, just like you would traditionally have, except it's actually a .pdf extension. So that's pretty cool. If you wanted to create this and send like a Revit model or a DWG with it or a video or something, I don't know, you could create a PDF package. And from here, you can add whatever files like, hey, you know what? We also have some other docs that we want to add. So let's go to my desktop where I have a bunch of stuff so that Mr. Artley can complain to me again. We'll just go here, open that. Boom. Just like that. Now I have a .rbt file in this .pdf extension. That's pretty cool. People can open up the set and also the PDF file. Be aware of file size, right? You know, you can't share specific things over a certain file size through Outlook. So you can use other things like Studio Projects to help share with a shareable file. If you're using ACC, you can drop in an ACC, Autodesk Construction Cloud. Whatever you're using for your file share method, or, you know, Dropbox is also one, or Google Drive. That reminds me, my Google Drive's like at 14 gigabytes, about to fill up. They give you like 15 free.
Oh boy. All right. So there was a question about, what you're doing now by making this set is you're combining multiple multi-sheet PDFs together, organizing them through the set. And then now you're at the phase where you're ready to publish that and share it with other people. So you're putting it back to just a PDF package, or one giant PDF that has all the files in there. But before you get to that part, I suppose you can keep rolling with this part. But so if you're organizing all these different PDF files in your set, what if one of those pages in one of those PDFs. So let's just looking at your screen here. Let's say the roof plan needed to add one more sheet. How would you go about adding one sheet to one of those PDFs? Do you do it through sets, or would you go into that file and then go in and deal with it? Yeah, I know we really don't have demo documents to
not for
make
the
this
complete.
easy.
Yeah, not for the complete one. So if I wanted to add this in, what I can go through and do is we'll just keep it the copy name. I can go and hit add, and we can add that copy into here, hit open, hit OK. And it's saying, hey, this has the start of the same name. Is it a revised file or not? I'm going to say, yes, it is. I'm going to hit OK. And there we are. So now you'll see,
Yep.
You'll have that new one. And then you have the old one too.
Yep. So it will make that supersede. And then we got another question for people that you're being asked to test. Does using split screens work with sets?
Yeah, because it's two same PDFs. So,
yep. Sure
does it work if I go this one? Well, if you don't sync, it probably will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're working on, let's say, a civil file where you've got plan and profile, and you turned off the sync, that would allow you to do that.
And I turned it on just to make sure it didn't scroll with it, but now I can sync. I have the two different PDFs open here. And hey, Mike, I'd like to compare these. Well, snapshot is, what's the hotkey for that again? G. Oh, it would be the opposite. So let me go to here. And then Control-Shift-V. We'll do multiply, change colors. And there we are. So I just copied an area over just to verify. Control-Shift-V if it's in the same spot or gets you close. That was from Liz, or I think it was Liz that said that last time. Someone taught me it. Perfect. So with that being said, the other one is export drawing log. Never done this before, so let's do it. It almost looks like a PDF report. Create hyperlinks, export to. That's going to export to that file.
Option to exclude superseded sheets. That's pretty clever.
Do you want, most people are probably going to want an Excel file. I kind of want to see what a PDF looks like. What are we doing?
I'll do Excel. Why not?
It's pretty cool.
Ooh, that's a good question, Doug or Bob. We'll test that here in a second.
And actually opens up the PDF. Look at that.
Interesting.
It's a nice table.
Oh, you Power BI folks. You're probably like, yeah, this is nothing. We can do way more than that.
Well, you can always take the data and run with it. It gives you the information. So
absolutely. That's good stuff. All right. So Bob has a really good question, and I don't think we've tested this before. So in traditional MCR fashion, let's do some testing. All right. So the challenge is, with one set open, can you create a markup and add it to all sheets? There we go. We'll do it live. That's right. So,
Can't.
oh, well, that was short-lived excitement. Denied. That function is not available.
Yeah, maybe just because it's seen as it's a tab by itself.
Yeah. And even if it just applied that to the sheets of that PDF, right? Because that is its own PDF on its own with 23 pages, it should still allow that function, but it's not. Oh, wait, never mind. That's a one-page document. I was seeing the 23 because that's counting the set.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have like a set option to apply it from a stamp thought process too.
Interesting.
Be cool if it was like across the set, but it's using it as a single one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so going back, that's it. That's that log. I want to see what a PDF log looks like. So,
ooh, that's a beautiful little index. It kind of looks nicer than.
and they're hyperlinked.
Look at that. Interesting.
So that's fun. What else? Print. Shouldn't be doing that, but if you wanted to,
right,
you can go through and print all. So you want to save it again. So I'll save as. We'll just do MCR set. And again, it will save it as a .bex file extension. And that's what you open up. So I'll close the set, close these PDFs, and then you'll just, I mean, you double click, whatever your preference is. And there we are.
Open up lots of files at once.
Yes.
So there was a question, could you have used the load button to load more files? I don't know if you were already at the drawing log phase of that question.
Unload.
Yeah.
Like delete one.
Could you use the load button to load more files? Where was that at?
Oh, it's right here. Add files to set. So you can go through and add more. But I didn't know there's a really good right click function. So open new tab, modify set, add files to the set, remove files from set, print. Oh, there's a compare feature.
Interesting.
I want to
do one of the ones that has the two that are superseded, like the roof plan copy.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh,
so I was wondering if there was going to be a better way to do this. Oh, look at that. That's nice.
Well, this just comes down to designers can't be moving viewports.
Fair.
Right. That would be the only concerning question.
Right. What's got that yellow tinge to it? That's weird.
It's just that, like, since we're so far back, more closer, they align, but it's just like that distinction between the layer states.
All right.
Perfect. Any other questions?
Yeah. So there's interesting things going on here, and I think I'm reading these out of order from when you're moving around. Isaac is suggesting that you could search the set and apply markups to all results. So maybe another way to get around the whole limitation there.
So you could select all and then apply a markup.
I mean, you'd have to have that tool. It'd be a count tool. There's no other way to do that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's count.
1,500 results, so be careful with that one.
I just did it, and that's why it took a second.
Okay. I mean, it's one way to do it. Interesting.
It applied them, but again, it's only to the sheet. So, well, it applied them to all the sheets. I meant like only the sheet is gonna. Wait, maybe it didn't. No, it didn't. It was only that sheet.
All right.
Oh, current document, current set. Yeah, there we go. I'm not going to apply it. So,
Well, maybe just search for something, not the letter A, maybe all or and. That's weird. 98 results found. Okay. Select all. Oh, it's doing something.
it's doing it. It's adding it.
There you go. Look at that. Nice little hack there, Isaac. All right. And then David is asking, would it work to publish the set? So bring it all back into one PDF, apply the stamp that you wanted to apply, and then go and then split the pages back out. I mean, that kind of defeats the purpose a little bit, but it would work. And then Jared's saying that if you're using batch stamp, so instead of using the whole apply to pages thing, that would work.
But you would have to.
You'd have to have complete subscription for one.
So is that more the sign and seal one? Because if I'm doing batch stamp.
Yeah, batch stamp should work just fine.
It just says all page.
Oh, not whole set.
What about batch sign and seal? No, I don't want to save my changes.
Okay.
Go back. Okay, going back. Apply. Oh, open set.
Okay.
The only thing with this one is like the apply anchor locations. It's like only the quadrants so you can place it. Yes, and another reason to why not move viewports. I know it's hard. I mean, it's kind of a catch-22. Like from the structural world, some times you have to realign it, or if we have these lovely little quadrants we have to place things into. So
all right. Well, thanks for that wonderful demonstration of sets. If there are any other random questions, now's the time, and let's start with one that our buddy Matt Lynn put in there.
I am going to assume why he's doing that is for some of our internal things that we're doing here. But yeah, so you can go open set and then anchor. So this is the anchor positions of where it is going to place this item. You can also do an X, Y, and Z location if you can kind of find that quadrant area, copy paste it into here. But this is going to anchor it bottom left. Just like this, we have a watermark here. You can do an opacity if you want to, give it a little bit more of a lighter tone. Hit OK. And I think this will work perfect, Matt, for what you're trying to do.
And then it just got a little bit of a pro tip here from Jared. So he's saying one of the ways to place a stamp on the page is just start with one page and place the stamp on it. So where you actually want it to be. Yeah. And then go to the properties panel, the gear icon. And if you scroll down, it should give you the X and Y position. Right.
So we can do a little note.
Yeah. Put it on a note, write it down real quick. And then when you go to your anchor point, you're going to have that same option.
So we'll put this, where did I just put that notepad?
There it is.
Oh, come on.
So just do like 11.5 and 7.5, make it easy.
No.
It has to be exact.
Okay.
Oh, you're even copying and pasting. Look at this.
And then I don't want to lock it. We'll do something different. Oh, I didn't add it. Don't do what I did. Do the same thing, but add. Oh, and it look, it remembers it. I love it.
Yeah, always add your pages first. And there we go. So now it's probably you're going to have a duplicate one on this particular page, but that's fine.
This is different.
You chose a different stamp, and that different stamp is going to have a different location because the insertion point and all that other stuff. But if you scroll through your pages, that little date stamp should still be in the same location.
Yeah. I guess you could do it for no, because you'd have to create the markup as a stamp.
Well, correct.
Yeah. But you could do like, can I do a bunch? Let's see.
Oh, experimenting.
So you could go markups lists, Shift, Control C, and then drop this down, and then go to sets, and then Control Shift V. Yep, and it did those ones.
Yeah, but then you'd still have to copy paste through every sheet. I mean, that's one way
not
around
ideal.
it, though.
Not ideal. Not ideal.
And
what
then
else?
Also in the chat, they're talking about some tricks here, and I see this, and it's kind of giving me a little bit of an OCD thing. So up on top of your screen, you have all your drawing tabs. So you've got numerous tabs open because you have your whole set open, right? And with those, there's the asterisk that would tell you that nothing was saved or those files aren't saved. So
yeah,
in the
markups
chat,
were made or something was made in it.
Yeah, then you get that little asterisk. So one of the tips that was put in the chat was Shift plus F2 will save everything that's open. And then if you do Control, Shift, and W, it's going to save everything and close everything. So 501 hits, time to go. Control, Shift, W, and hopefully everything saves and closes.
Or can Shift F2. Is it going to prompt me though, Doug? I don't want to do it, and it auto saves it. Okay.
Shift
okay.
F2.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was Shift F2. I just didn't want it to save.
Fair.
I want it to tell me, do you want to save it? And it did. Okay. Control Shift W prompts you as well, but closes the windows. Boom. Yes, Stream Deck feature. So if you want to up your game with a Stream Deck feature, it could be an option to press that button.
There you go.
When you're getting ready to leave for the day. Or your mouse.
Shut it down. Yep. So yeah, one of the questions that Doug had, thanks for the reminder, Doug. When you open up your set again, so can you pull up the markup summary for the entire set at one time, or do you have to have everything open?
That was asked before. It's the one PDF because it's a single page.
Right. But the actual summary, not just a list.
I don't get what you're saying.
So when you, I suppose, yeah, when you go to your markups list, it's only going to show what's on that particular page.
Why is it not showing up?
That's peculiar. Yeah, exactly, Isaac. We're getting there.
I think I broke it.
You might have broken it. That's really odd. Why is that happening?
Probably need to
Okay.
close out.
Yeah. See that? He's placing markups and they're not showing up in the markups list. Okay.
But I don't know if you could do like, because even with thumbnails, right click, markup summary, it's still the PDF. Ooh, wait, hold on. What if you did, wait, right click, markup summary, PDF summary,
Add open set.
open set.
There you go.
Mm.
That's where we're going to go. So the whole set, that's going to go through every file, the whole thing. Pretty darn clever. But yeah,
So there's the set of markups. So yeah,
there is a trick to it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Doug's excited about something. So we're going to go test something. Got a couple minutes left here. So on the sets tab, so choose select latest revisions. So maybe the sets pull down where it says sets.
I did. So I did that. Select latest revisions.
Okay. Oh, and then, or you'll get markups from your superseded pages.
Okay, so I get where you're going. So let me go here, right here, markup summary. Can I filter? I'd probably filter them out. PDF summary. Filter, show all. Ooh, I can't even grab that. So you can't filter by specific columns because we're going to get the superseded. That's maybe why you'd flatten them. So you may want to flatten those other ones and you wouldn't see superseded because it wouldn't be a markup now. It would be part of the PDF. So that would probably be a setting. So that in here, flatten markups after copy so that it flattens the superseded. So that may be a thought. But because if I select all latest, I can't right click and do a summary. Maybe I can. Or maybe you just remove the ones that are. Well, actually, it doesn't have the other ones. Let's see. Okay. Nope, still brought it. Okay. Jared said a couple random set tips. You can shift click the carets next to the category to expand collapse all. Shift click. Boom. That's cool. If you collapse all categories and then expand only certain categories, you can select latest revisions and then publish, combine, and create a file of only those expanded. Cool. Thanks, Jared.
Yeah, some handy tips.
Well, we are at, yep, you're good. I'll let you drown it out.
And with that, everybody, thanks for your time, your attention, your participation today. Had a lively chat going on as we work through sets and some good tips there from Jared and everybody else. I really appreciate that. Yeah, the time flies. Time flies when you're having fun. As always, when we're done here, if you're joining us on Zoom, you will get an option for a survey. Put your list in there for any feedback for us or any topics that you'd like us to cover in the future. Same thing over there on YouTube. Put the comments in there, like and subscribe, do all that. All that feedback gets back to us. Otherwise, we will see you next Tuesday for an Espresso Yourself edition, where we will be having someone join us to talk about their journey into Bluebeam and all sorts of fun things with the AEC industry.
Yep. So remember, we still are having ours next week. It's the following week that we will not be having one, but we'll tell you all. So please tune in next week if you want to listen to Emily Clark, who's going to be talking about her journey and her encouragement of our journey into Bluebeam and all things architecture and how she got where she's at today. So if you want to listen to that or check it out on Spotify about week and a half to 2 weeks later, or the tube, if you want to re-listen to that as well. If not, join us live because we will be live here on Zoom, not on YouTube. We don't do live YouTube for those. So we look forward to seeing you all next week.
Yep. See you next week. Take care, everybody.